Madam Chair, we're now live.
Thank you so much. Good evening, everyone. I'll now call this meeting to order. It's 7 o'clock. My name is Lindsay McNally, and I'll be acting as chairperson this evening. I welcome all individuals present. This meeting of the Property Standards and Animal Services Appeals Committee is being held electronically and live streamed on the internet. Due to the COVID-19 emergency and requirements for physical distancing, no in-person attendance is permitted at this meeting. All regular practices and procedures of the committee continue to apply during this electronic meeting. If we encounter any technical difficulties, we may take a brief recess while they are resolved. Thank you everyone for your patience, and we'll proceed with the meeting. The Town of Ajax Animal Services Appeals Committee has full delegation of the authority of the Municipal Act to hear appeals. The committee will hear evidence presented by witnesses, town bylaw staff, property owners, the owners of the dog, or other individuals that may have evidence relating to the case, and make decisions on the status of an order to restrain by confirming, modifying, rescinding, or extending the time for complying with the order. If an individual or the town does not agree with the decision of the committee with regards to an order to restrain decision, the order may be appealed to the General Government Committee of the town. All appeals processes will be outlined in the written decision of the committee, which will be mailed to the appellant. The format of this meeting will be that each appeal will be heard in the order listed on the agenda. Town staff will present their testimony to the committee. The committee will then ask the officer questions. At the conclusion of committee questions, the appellant will then have the option to ask questions of the officer. This process will continue for each witness that will give testimony on behalf of the town. After the town has concluded their case, the appellant will present their testimony to the committee. The committee will then ask the appellant questions. At the conclusion of committee questions, town staff will then have the option to ask questions of the appellant. And this process will continue for each witness that will give testimony on behalf of the appellant. At the conclusion of the presentation of evidence, each side will be asked to summarize their respective positions, starting with town staff. The committee will then deliberate in a public forum. It is important that the appellant remain present, as there may be additional questions raised by members during our deliberation. With all of that said, we're going to start with the first item on the agenda, which is the approval of the minutes of September 9th, 2021. Any errors or omissions from the committee?
No.
Someone want to make a motion to approve?
I can make a motion to approve.
All in favor?
Yes.
Thank you. The motion is carried. Now we'll move forward with our appeal this evening. It's Horton Crawl for 8 Grayson Road. It's been called to my attention that the appellant has submitted some materials outside of the rules of the cutoff for the meeting package that the committee has not yet had an opportunity to review. And so I would ask the committee members if they would like to review this evidence that's been submitted. And if you'd like to do so, then I would ask for a motion to suspend the rules to receive this additional evidence.
I'll put forward that motion.
All in favor, raise your hand.
I'll put forward a motion to suspend the rules, accept new evidence received by the appellant after the cutoff.
Wonderful, thank you. That motion is carried. So we'll start with town staff. Officer Hall, can you please present your testimony? Officer Hall, are you with us? We can't hear you. Seems that Officer Hall is having some audio issues. We'll just pause for a moment and see if we can get that resolved. Officer Hall, I see you've unmuted yourself. still unable to hear you. Is there a different audio connection that you could try on your end?
I'm not able to hear anything.
Oh, me neither. I apologize, everyone. Thanks for your patience. Sometimes these Zoom meetings get off to a slow start with the technical issues.
And we'll come back.
Oh, I just heard Officer Hall and then they disappeared.
Madam Chair, I've asked Officer Hall to leave the meeting and try to re-enter again. It appeared everything on her computer was working fine, but you guys couldn't hear.
Thank you. We'll just wait for a moment. Officer Hall, thanks for rejoining us. Can you test your audio for us? Officer Hall, are you with us?
Testing, testing.
Oh. I hear someone.
Okay, you hear me?
Yes.
We can hear you now. Thank you. Please go ahead and present your testimony.
Okay. On the evening of October 6th, 2021, I received a call from the after hours dispatch line informing me of an incident that had just occurred near the Terry Fox Public School Trail area. I then made contact with the victim, Mike Hebb, who stated that while walking his small sheepdoodle type dog, a lady further ahead of him had lost control of her golden retriever type dog, and then the dog engaged in an unwanted interaction with him and his dog. The victim then stated that the golden retriever began scratching and mauling his dog, leaving her with a bloody paw and an injured nail. The victim then stated that the dog ran away, that his dog ran away towards home and the golden retriever began growling at him. The victim further stated that the female owner collected her dog and left the scene. The victim then stated that he followed them home to obtain an address, which was 8 Grayson Road. I then performed a DocuPet animal licensing search. Records showed 2 valid animal licenses, one specifically registered to a golden retriever type dog named Reggie, owned by Daniel Kroll of 8 Grayson Road, Ajax. Later that evening, the victim provided me with pictures of his dog's paw. On October 7, 2021, I received a statement from the victim. Later that day, I attended 8 Grayson Road and spoke with co-owner of Reggie, Darlene Horton. The appellant asked if I was there regarding the incident that occurred the day prior. I explained that I was and asked what had happened. The appellant explained that she was walking Reggie when the victim and his dog approached them. The appellant advised that Reggie had a halty type restraint on and was being walked with an extendable leash. The appellant stated that she advised the victim to back away with his dog as she couldn't hold on to Reggie. The appellant explained that the victim did not comply with her request. She further stated that Reggie jumped forward and began playing with his dog. The appellant advised that she called Reggie over and that she did provide the victim with her address. The appellant then proceeded to show me the Halti restraint and extendable leash that was used during the time of the incident. Both the Halti and leash appeared to be in good condition and appeared to be designed for a larger type breed dog like hers. The appellant did not show any remorse and was not apologetic with regard to the incident and kept stating that her dog was just playing. Later that day, after reviewing my file, I returned and served the appellant with a standard order to restrain, which would include that the dog must be muzzled when off of the property of the owner and when not in an enclosed area. I also went over the entirety of the order with the appellant and also explained the appeal process should they wish to do so. I also explained that although there was no history of attacks with the town, there were other factors that I took into consideration to ensure public safety, like the likelihood of this occurring again. Although the attack was minor in nature, it was concerning that the appellant could not physically control the dog at the time of the incident. I also took into consideration the dog's physical potential of inflicting harm, precautions taken by the owner, the reaction, remorse, and empathy showed by the dog owner, and the location where the dog resides, which is where the incident occurred near the Terry Fox Public School area. On October 22nd, the town received correspondence requesting for the appeal meeting, which was being done tonight. And that concludes my testimony.
Thank you, Officer Hull. Does the committee have any questions for the officer?
I do actually. Question for Officer Hull. Who provided the photos that were provided with our meeting package this evening? Was that you that took the photos or was that the victim?
No, the victim took the photos.
Okay. And did you meet the injured dog at all to see or verify any injuries on the dog?
No, when speaking to the victim, the dog did not require any vet attention. Usually with more severe injuries, I would attend and see it personally, but the victim did say that the dog wasn't taken to a vet.
Okay. Thank you. That's all my question.
I have no questions.
Okay. Thank you so much. I believe it's Mr. Kroll. Mr. Kroll that's with us this evening. Do you have any questions for the officer? Mr. Kroll, you are muted. If you could just confirm if you have questions of the officer, that'd be great. Could our moderator please prompt the
Hello?
appellant to unmute? There you go. Hi there.
Oh, now
We'd just like-
they're muted.
We can hear you now. We'd just like to confirm this is your opportunity. If you do have questions for the officer, you do have an opportunity to ask questions at this time.
It appears the appellant has self-muted again.
Okay, we'll get through all the technical stuff.
Hello?
There we go. We can hear you now.
Okay.
Hear you.
Sorry. This is new
No
to me.
problem. Do you have any questions for the officer at this time?
Yes, I do. Did she see any, did the other dog have its proper city tags and rabies shots and everything?
I'm sorry, I didn't really catch that. There's a bit of an echo on
Did
my
he-
end. Could you repeat that question?
Did the other dog have, or the other owner have his dog vaccinated for rabies and all the other shots and a city tag on the dog at the time?
Officer Hull, can you advise, did you confirm if the other animal was fully vaccinated up to date?
No, that's not our standard procedure to check that when we receive that complaint.
Oh, very good of you.
Thank you. Any other questions, Mr. Kroll?
No, thank you.
Okay, thank you very much. Just before I move on, I'd just like to confirm with the officer that we do not have any other witnesses here on behalf of the town this evening. Officer Hall, could you confirm you have no other witnesses with you today?
No, I have no other witnesses with me today.
Okay, thank you very much. Mr. Kroll, now is
Yes.
your opportunity to present your testimony to the committee.
I was not there.
Yeah.
My wife was here, Darlene Horton.
Okay, Ms. Horton, if you're with us as well, either of you are welcome to address the committee with your evidence.
Okay, because what he's saying is not true. I'm sorry to say. The victim. And sorry, and my dog did not touch his dog. He chased him. And he's saying he bit him and all this other stuff. And no, he never even went near the gentleman that owns the dog. And I have 2 dogs. Reggie, he is well associated with people and other dogs. My Maddie, not, because COVID hit and that was, you have to stay away from everybody. So, but him, no, he didn't do anything what he's saying. He chased the dog and that was it. And if he's saying that I took up, you weren't there either.
No.
And if I took off, no, because when he came racing back in his vehicle and I was there picking the stuff up, that happened out of my, the poop bags and all that stuff. I was still there when he came racing up and yelled at me, I'm phoning the cops. I said, you go right ahead. I said, I live at 8 Grayson, and I walked away. So, but there's no way Reggie touched that dog or did any of that to his paw or anything else. And I told him distinctly, I said, can you keep, because with Reggie, I'm sorry, because I'm nervous. Reggie, when you hesitate, he thinks to play. And that's what they did. They came around the corner, took me and Reggie by surprise, and he just stood there. I'm thinking, keep on going. And as soon as Reggie sees that hesitation, he thinks the other dog wants to play. And that's what Reggie lunged to, and I told the guy, I'm sorry, I can't hang on to him because you took me basically, by surprise. And he went chasing the dog and the dog took off. Did 2 circles around the owner and the dog took off. And Reggie chased him until the metal thing in the parking lot over at the school. And as soon as I called him and he stopped and came back to me. But he did not touch that dog. Well, and the other evidence, yes, sorry. But yeah, I'm sorry, but I just get upset about this. But yeah, and the other evidence.
It's a difficult experience.
Well,
if you could just let us know the events
sorry.
of the day from your perspective. You're doing great. We're happy to listen to you.
I'm sorry.
So yeah, if you could let us know the events of the incident from your perspective, I think that would be very helpful for the committee.
I'm sorry. I didn't really hear you, huh? Sorry.
Sorry, no problem. If you could just let us know the events of the day from your perspective, right? So when we're looking for your testimony or your evidence, we're just looking to hear about the incident from your perspective.
Yeah.
And don't worry about being nervous. You're doing great. It's a difficult situation. So we're happy to listen to you from your perspective, okay?
Yeah, I'm so sorry. Yeah, so with the evidence, I got, our vet, because she's done my both dogs since they were puppies. Yeah, well, and our other dogs too. And, and I got everybody on the street that knows Reggie. And if the weather was like better, I could get other people that ask me how Reggie is doing when I'm walking Maddie. And it's usually, they think it's Reggie and it's Maddie. Wrong dog. But with the weather, I couldn't get any more, that he's not vicious. It's just very upsetting. I'm sorry. But I got signatures for, everybody on the street that knows Reggie. It's just, yeah, It's just, sorry, very upsetting. But being accused of, sorry,
I understand. Please continue.
sorry. And, you know, and then I got the letter from my neighbors next door. They got 2 dogs, well, 3, you know, and I got my other neighbor that just lost their dog not too long ago. And their kids are auntie and uncle. That's what I, you know. And even I got care workers, and I didn't get their signatures, I'm sorry, that come in and look after my mother. And one's auntie. And they've never, I'm, you know, he's just a puppy. Am I ruining this? God, I feel like I am.
Not at all. The committee will have an opportunity to ask you questions. I
Mhm.
think it might be, I don't want to cut you off.
Yeah,
If your evidence is complete, we can
Yeah.
move to the portion where the committee asks you questions. And I wonder
Okay.
if that might be the most productive.
yeah,
way
I
to
think maybe
consider
that'll be
as your
better.
option.
And
Okay,
then I'll keep my mouth shut.
Okay. Thank you. So I'll ask the committee members, do you have any questions for the appellant?
I have a couple. Which order do you want to go in? Do you want Jessica to go first?
Go ahead, David.
Okay, I'll go first then. Ms. Horton,
Mhm.
you were the person there at the time this incident occurred.
Yes,
Did you see injuries to the other dog, the small dog?
no,
Okay. Did you, in the way that your dog was interacting with the small dog, could you understand that there could be injuries that occurred to the small dog?
no,
Okay,
because he let go, sorry,
go ahead. Go ahead.
well, he
Go
let go
ahead.
of the leash, the dog's leash, when he went around, you know. That's why I was wondering if he was on a leash, but I assumed because I seen it bouncing when he took off. And it wasn't a little dog. I'm sorry. But yeah,
Stop saying you're sorry, because you're not.
The other thing I have there seems to be some question about your ability to control the dog from what the officer said. I want to ask you directly, do you have trouble controlling Reggie when you go for a walk?
the only time is like when other dogs come around, we just go around the other way. We've always done that
And why would that be?
because he wants to play. And I can't take 2 dogs out and let them play together. That's why it's, you know, I take him out one at a time. And that's what he wants to do. He just wants to play. And this is what he's done since he was a puppy. Oh, shoot. It's extendo.
If you could describe it for us, yeah.
Yeah, that's what I'm just, yeah.
It's an extended leash with a plastic handle.
Yeah, and it's got a light on it thingy.
Okay.
And how much would you say that is? How wide is it?
Almost
Yeah, no.
an inch.
Yeah, the like his
Yeah.
Made for
leash.
Bigger dogs.
It's made for bigger dogs.
Yeah, okay. And I find sometimes those are hard to hold on to when your dog wants to take off on you because they don't have a lot of flexibility in terms of the handle for that. So I was just wanting to know what type of a leash your dog was on. So
It has a lock in it, too.
Yeah, but it's got the lock on it and everything. You know, I
Right.
can extend and lock it
And bring it back.
and bring it back.
okay. And have you done any training with Reggie at all? Any puppy classes? You said he was a puppy.
Oh yeah,
so-
like
Yes, he
well,
has
yeah,
been.
that's my mother.
Yes, 3 times he's been to this Cheryl Hart's place on
In Bowmanville.
in Bowmanville. And he has worked well with her, and he's gone outside and played with all kinds of dogs in a big field, a big pen. And I've got a letter from her that he has worked well with all those animals.
Yeah, but we
Never
didn't.
showed.
Yeah, but we
never
didn't
showed-
get it until
We
today.
didn't get the letter.
And have you done leash training with him with
No,
a leather leash or a
Just
fabric
done.
leash?
You just done down and sit and don't steal food off the tables. But
No, have you done specific leash
all
training
kinds of
though?
dogs.
Okay.
and never
Okay,
aggressive.
okay. Sorry. Okay.
So the question was, have you done any specific leash training?
Leash training?
No.
No.
Okay, I see a hand up here. Did you want to interject?
Madam Chair, if I could just ask for the purposes of the minute, who that was speaking in the background?
Sorry, it's Reggie's really mummy, but she can't walk him anymore, so I do it. But that's Reggie's mummy, and I'm mummy too. So
Okay, so just her name for the minutes, if you could.
Susan Cousins.
Thank you, appreciated.
Okay.
And how far, oh, I just have one more question, if I may. How far away did Reggie and this other dog get from you in their running? I assume the other dog was also off leash when Reggie was chasing it?
Yeah, because he let go of his leash too. Yeah, let's see. Like how long or?
I know, distance.
Yeah, distance.
Yeah, how long? How many meters? Feet? So they're asking.
Yeah, I know, but I'm just from here to there. That's all I know. I know.
Like a city block distance,
no,
half
no,
a
no,
city
no, no,
block,
no.
maybe 2 houses distance far away?
Yeah, sorry. Yeah, I say maybe about 2 houses.
Okay, and you recalled Reggie and Reggie stopped and came back to you?
Yes. When he got to the green thing in the parking lot. Because that's how far, like I said, basically, yeah, 2 houses.
Okay, perfect. Thank you. Those are my only questions.
Okay.
I do have some questions for you, not about the incident itself, but about the order to restrain. So you indicated in your letter that the point of concern in the order to restrain is with respect to the muzzle. Is that the case? Is it the muzzle order
It's
in
the muzzle,
particular that's
yes.
problematic?
Yes.
Okay. So what results are you hoping for from this meeting? Are you hoping that the order will be rescinded, which means that we take it away? Or are you
Yeah,
hoping
take
that
it
we
away, yeah.
modify the order to eliminate the muzzle? It's helpful for us to understand what your desired outcome is.
She wants to take the muzzle away.
Off.
Or off, yes, yeah.
Thank you. And the other question that I have is just a simple one. From your perspective, there was no bite that occurred.
No.
I don't want to question if it was an attack for the purpose of this question, but your dog Reggie did not bite the other dog.
He did not bite the other dog.
Thank you. Does the committee have any further questions for the appellant?
No.
Seeing none, Officer Hall, this is your opportunity to ask questions of the appellant.
Don't have any questions.
Thank you. Do you have any other witnesses that you'd like to speak on your behalf with respect to the incident this evening?
No, not right here. No, I don't. Sorry, no.
Okay, thank you. The next item or the next step in our process here is for each of you to have an opportunity to summarize your position. And we'll start with Officer Hall. Please go ahead.
I received a complaint, investigated it, and with all the evidence provided, I issued an order to restrain. The town would like to uphold the order as we feel it was the appropriate action.
And thank you. And our appellant, this is your opportunity to summarize your position one last time for the committee.
Asked me if the photograph of the injury was date stamped.
I don't know.
I am sorry, I was not able to hear that.
Ask her.
Oh, sorry. Oh, the pictures that the owner sent, was it stamped
With date?
with a
time?
date and a time? Because usually photographs do have a time and a date.
So at this point of the meeting, that's not really an appropriate question.
Oh,
for the
okay.
committee. What we're asking of you is to provide us with just a last summary of your position. So what you're looking to achieve from this meeting, or what your position is with respect to the incident.
Well, for Reggie not to wear a muzzle because he's not ferocious.
Okay, thank you. So the committee will now deliberate in a public forum. And just as a reminder, we ask that the appellant does remain present in case we have any additional questions during our deliberation.
Okay.
So to the committee members, I typically like to start with just a discussion about how you feel about the request of the appellant with respect to the modification of the order, so we can see where we are, and then we can hopefully align our thoughts. So whoever would like to begin, I'm open.
David, go ahead.
All right, well, clearly we don't have any evidence from the other person who was there, Mr. Cav in this case. We do have some written information from him, but for the purpose of this hearing, there's no testimony from Mr. Cav, which I would have liked to have heard, because there is some contradictions in what the two stories, how they evolved and were presented to us on the agenda. As far as the other thing that's come out from the testimony from Ms. Horton is that there doesn't seem to be a dog fight or clearly she even says there's no biting. And so there's no evidence brought out about how those injuries did occur to the other dog from the hearing tonight. My biggest area of concern still remains, however, that the control of the dog. There's this seems to be, I don't know if it's that Ms. Horton is incapable of holding the dog, if there's a sudden urge by Reggie to go somewhere, and that's concerning. However, as I said, there doesn't seem to be a lot of evidence that Reggie caused the injuries by biting or otherwise to this other dog. So those are my thoughts on it.
If I can say a few words as well in terms of my thoughts along the same lines of David. The injury to the dog, the physical photographic evidence provided, to me shows an injury to a dog's nail bed, which can be caused by running on pavement. So there's no evidence that there was an actual puncture wound or bite. There was no veterinarian visit, and the officer didn't actually inspect the dog to see if there were any other injuries to the dog. So I'm not convinced that this was an actual bite. The concern, though, that I do have is the ability to control Reggie, and whether it's the type of leash, the type of training that's required, or a combination of both. Those are my thoughts on this matter.
I'm generally aligned with the comments that have been made. So I'm a little bit conflicted because the order does require that Reggie is under control of someone who is physically capable of controlling the dog. And I'm not certain that the appellant, as they were walking the dog, that they were physically capable of restraining the dog or controlling the dog. So, if I thought that was the issue on its own, then I wouldn't really need a muzzle. Like, if I thought that issue could be resolved, then I wouldn't really be in favor of keeping a muzzle order. So my concern is, in this particular incident, there was a loss of control of the dog, and whether or not a bite occurred, it could have occurred. And if the dog is not in the control of the owner, then there should be some additional measure to make sure that that dog doesn't have an opportunity to bite another dog. So as much as I don't feel like a bite occurred here, the evidence doesn't show us that a bite occurred here, I still think that a muzzle may be appropriate given the inability to control the animal, whether or not it's aggressive behavior.
Well, can I jump in and say some more?
Please go ahead.
Just as part of our discussion, I don't know that because of the, as Jessica mentioned, the injuries, because they're not probably bite related in this instance. I didn't hear any evidence that the dog was biting at all. And as I said, the only intimation that there was some sort of viciousness or aggressiveness occurred when in the statements of the person who's not providing any evidence. So I don't I tend to favor the the appellant's thought that there's no need for a muzzle at this point. But I'd like to hear some more from the committee members.
I think I'm more aligned with your thoughts as well. That it's an unfortunate incident that it happened. There were probably circumstances that led up to this happening. Whether the appellant could have been more forceful in asking for the victim to remain at a distance or to have better control over the dog with a different type of a leash. This possibly could have been avoided had the the appellant had physical control with a leash that she would have been able to hold on to, and one with two hands. I find that the flexi leads have one handle that you can only hold on with one hand. So from a control perspective, whether the appellant is interested in exploring other options for using a different type of leash and seeking some training on how to have appropriate leash behavior, may be in their best interest for the future.
Yeah, I mean, my challenge is I'm not comfortable modifying orders because there may be opportunity for an appellant to do training or explore different types of leashes in the future. But that said, it doesn't seem as though I'm aligned with the thought process of the two other committee members. I am okay with being outvoted. So it sounds like there may be, or we may be ready to put forward a motion to modify the order. That's how my take on the discussion. So if anyone would like to put a motion on the table, I feel like we may be ready as a committee.
I can put forth a motion to modify the order to remove the muzzle requirement, but the rest of the order stand as written.
So just for clarity for the minutes, so that would eliminate the requirement for the muzzle in items 2 and 3 of the order.
Correct.
All in favor, raise your hand. That motion is carried. So Mr. Kroll, Ms. Horton, the
Yes.
committee has deliberated, and we advise that the order to restrain will be modified to eliminate the muzzling requirement in both items 2 and 3 of the order to restrain. A written decision will be mailed to you following this meeting. And if you do not agree with the committee's decision, the appeals process will be detailed in the written decision mailed to you. And I've outlined those options earlier in the meeting. Thank you very much for your participation tonight.
Thank you very
Thank
much.
you very much.
The next item on our agenda is for town staff to provide us a verbal update on Neil Waglowski.
My glasses.
Thank you, Madam Chair. To update 19 Chalmers, that was the incident that had the young girl walking the dog in the community park and the child approached. There's been no further incidents and the town has deemed that file to be compliant. There was no appeal made, so we consider the matter closed. I do have another update for the committee based on an appeal you heard for 6 Olson. That was the 2-dog attack on 2 young girls. That was the appeal that provided several videos of the dogs in training and out walking the neighborhood and It was
Right.
Officer McCauley that did that appeal. So there has been a reoccurrence of an incident involving one of the dogs that almost mauled to death another dog. There's over $10,000 in vet bills currently as a result of the dog attacking another dog. The town, the dog was surrendered to the town at our request, and it was humanely euthanized as a result of the second incident that occurred. So the while it's not, that is an update that the committee did hear that appeal. And that concludes our verbal updates.
Thank you. That's really unfortunate. If I recall correctly, we did not modify that order, correct? We upheld it?
Yeah.
You are correct. It was both orders on both dogs were upheld.
What a shame. Is there any new business to discuss this evening?
Madam Chair, the town has no new business at this time.
Thank you. So I believe we've concluded the business for which this meeting was called, and I'd like to entertain a motion to adjourn the meeting.
Motion to adjourn.
All in favor, raise your hands. Thank you. That motion is carried. Thank